Good evening. Thanks for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you tonight. It is the biggest aircraft order by Air India since 2005. Prime Minister Modi and French President Macron hail a landmark agreement between Air India and Airbus to purchase 250 aircraft. Air India is also likely to announce a deal to buy more than 200 aircraft from Boeing. Income tax officials knock on the offices of BBC in Delhi and Mumbai, alleged non-compliance with transfer pricing rules and diversion of profits. The BJP calls BBC the most corrupt organisation in the world. Opposition parties condemn the action. The UK government says it's closely monitoring these developments. Adani Group stocks remain largely under pressure. The group has lost more than 10 lakh crore rupees in market capitalisation in over 3 weeks. Adani Enterprises regained some lost ground after reporting a 42% growth in revenue. The Directorate General of GST Intelligence sends notices to 12 mutual funds, alleges that they wrongfully accounted for scheme costs as capex to claim input tax credit. The agency has estimated a liability of 500 crores. The death toll in the Turkey-Syria earthquakes crosses 37,000. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad agrees to let the UN deliver aid in rebel-controlled parts of northwest Syria through 2 more border crossings from Turkey. Nikki Haley becomes the first Republican to challenge Donald Trump for the White House. The former governor of Southern California and UN ambassador announces her candidacy for the 2024 U.S. presidential race. Fifth-generation fighter jets from the U.S. Air Force dazzle the crowd on day 2 of the Aero India Aviation Show in Bengaluru. India's homemade Tejas and Suryakaran aircraft also take to the skies. Indian manufacturers remain upbeat on demand and business outlook. Well, let's start with the day's trading action. The Lal Street ending the day largely higher. The Nifty and the Sensex closed with a gain of about 1% each, and that was led higher by a healthy move in some select large-cap stocks. Reliance, ITC, ICICI Bank were some of the top contributors to the Nifty's up move today. However, underperformance by mid-caps did keep the market breath in favour of the declining stocks, and that index ended 0.25% in the red. Now, Adani Group stocks remain largely under pressure. 6 of the 10 group stocks hit the lower circuit today, and there were some patches of green. But despite that, the Adani Group has given up another 19,000 crore rupees in market capitalization today. Now, this takes the cumulative loss since the Hindenburg report was made public 10.4 lakh crore rupees. That is the market cap erosion the group has seen. Adani Enterprises regained some lost ground today. The company posted a profit of over 800 crore rupees in Q3 against a loss of 12 crores in the previous year. Revenue grew 42%. EBITDA doubled from around 770 crore rupees last year to more than 1,600 crore rupees in the current quarter. Now, according to a Reuters report, Adani Enterprises and Adani Ports are likely to repay its short-term commercial debt over the next few months and not roll them over as normal. Adani Enterprises and Adani Green have not moved forward with their planned bond offerings. The report added that the Adani Group is currently not looking to tap the short-term debt market. In an exchange filing, the Adani Group said it sees no material refinancing risk for its companies and it has no significant near-term liquidity requirements. Adani Group has said its net debt as of September last year stands at more than $24 billion and it's sitting on a cash pile worth nearly $4 billion as of the end of December. Opposition parties continue to accuse the government of allegedly favouring the Adani Group. Union Minister Amit Shah refuting the allegations and said that the BJP has nothing to hide. Take a look.
अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने केस का संज्ञान लिया है. देश की कैबिनेट के सदस्य नाते जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने किसी मैटर को सीज किया हो उस वक्त मेरे लिए बोलना ठीक नहीं होगा, परंतु इसमें बीजेपी के लिए कुछ छुपाने को नहीं है और ना किसी बात से डरने की जरूरत है.
Well, that is the Home Minister commenting on the Adani controversy. But the big story from the aviation space, Air India has inked an order to buy 250 Airbus planes. This is the first time that the airline has placed a major order since 2005. And this is, of course, the first time that the announcement has come once the Tatars have taken over. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron, with the top brass of Air India and Airbus in attendance. Prime Minister Modi called the deal a landmark announcement. He said the aviation industry is growing rapidly in India and the country will need more than 2,000 aircraft over the next 15 years. President Macron said Airbus and France are deeply committed to India's development.
मैं एयर इंडिया और एयरबस को इस लैंडमार्क एग्रीमेंट के लिए बहुत-बहुत बधाई और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं. कई आकलनों के अनुसार भारत को अगले 15 वर्षों में 2000 से अधिक विमानों की आवश्यकता होगी। आज की ऐतिहासिक घोषणा इस बढ़ती मांग को पूरा करने में सहायक होगी।
Airbus is contributing to the outstanding development of India, and the new 250 aircrafts which will be delivered to Air India will be one more step in this direction. There is a deep commitment in France to provide the state-of-the-art, the most efficient technologies available to India, and to be part of your Made in India strategy.
We also have significant options to increase the fleet order once we grow. We see this moment as a most significant moment for the Tata Group's Air India, Indian aviation, and for manufacturing sector in India.
Well, Madiha joins us now. Madiha, a new order after 17 years for Air India. What does this now mean as far as the airline is concerned, and what next for Air India outside of Airbus?
Well, an aircraft order of this scale and size tells us a lot about India's aviation sector, the strength, potential and the growth going forward. And Air India under the Tata Group has been striving to regain market leadership. This order with Airbus, as you said, is for 250 Airbus aircraft. This will include 40 wide-body planes A350 and 210 narrow-body planes A320 News. Now, wide-body planes will be used for long routes like the US and European destinations, and narrow-body for shorter routes like within India, South Asia and Southeast Asia. Air India currently has 113 planes, of which 68 are Airbus narrow-body planes and 45 are Boeing wide-body planes. Indian airlines together have under 800 aircraft, and Airbus dominates the Indian skies with over 500 planes, but these are all narrow-body jets. So Air India's order is a big comeback for Airbus wide-body planes, which were earlier used by Jet Airways and Kingfisher. Talking about Air India's expansion, the Airbus order is not only the first under the Tatas, but as you mentioned, it is also the first in last 18 years. The last time Air India had bought new planes was in 2005. The airline is also buying over 200 planes from American giant Boeing. And we know that the Tatas have been focusing on increasing Air India's international as well as domestic connectivity given the surge in travel demand. And this order is a clear step in that direction.
Well, big orders for both Airbus and Boeing. Madiha, many thanks for joining us. But the global story that we're tracking, inflation in the US, is just about on the rise again. The consumer price index was expected to rise by 6.2% in January, but data shows that inflation has risen 6.4% compared to last year. Even on a month-on-month basis, inflation has risen 0.5%. Core inflation, which discounts the volatile food and fuel prices, has risen 5.6% against an estimate of 5.5%. Steve Leesman is here with more on the inflation data. Steve, what do you make of it?
The story here is energy giveth and energy taketh away. We were up again 2% on energy. So a lot of the decline in the headline that we've had has been energy related. Food once again up 0.5%. We did get some help, which was sort of unexpected, from used car prices down 1.9%. But a key here is that shelter or housing up 0.7%. We can't get a break in terms of getting what we think are some of the indicators outside of the CPI showing housing and shelter going down. It's not yet filtered into the index. When it happens, that will help. And this all sort of underscores this idea, which has been coming from the Fed, that the road to disinflation is going to be a bumpy one. And just one other thing, if I read this correctly, workers did get a raise, 0.7% rise in real earnings for January. And that's a reason why we've had some people rethinking the weakness of the consumer in January after 2 bad months last year. So still an issue as to whether or not growth is going to cool quite as much as had been expected, especially with people getting a real raise when you look at the difference between what the wage they got nominally and the inflation that's taken away.
Steve, many thanks for joining us. So inflation edging higher in the US. Back home, the Income Tax Department has conducted surveys at BBC's Delhi and Mumbai offices today. Sources tell us that the taxman has alleged that the British broadcaster has not complied with transfer pricing rules. They've also levelled allegations of profit diversion. Sources tell us that the survey action will continue tomorrow as well. The move comes weeks after the British broadcaster released a two-part documentary on Prime Minister Modi, which was later banned by the Indian government. Danish Anand filed this report from outside of the BBC's Delhi office.
With the Income Tax Department is conducting a survey at the BBC offices in New Delhi as well as in Mumbai, and the building that you see behind me is the same building where the BBC office in New Delhi is situated, and in this building the BBC office is situated on the 5th as well as on the 6th floor. Well, according to the income tax sources, the survey is being conducted because IT has alleged that due to non-compliance with the transfer pricing rules as well as because of diversion of profit, this survey is being conducted by the tax authorities, and the IT has also alleged that they have issued several notices to the BBC in the past, and they have been completely non-compliant with it. Moreover, whatever documents that they are searching right now, it includes a lot of details on manipulation of prices for unauthorized benefits, which also includes tax advantages. So these are the certain reasons why the Income Tax Department is conducting a survey right now. And as per the normal protocol, whichever employee was present inside the office at that time, they are not allowed to use any kind of electronic devices, or neither they're allowed to enter or exit from the office. Well, this survey has been on since 11:15 a.m. in the morning, and even till now the survey is going on.
Well, the BBC in a statement said that they are fully cooperating with authorities. They said they hope to have the situation resolved as soon as possible. UK government sources say that they are closely monitoring the situation. Meanwhile, the Editors Guild in a statement has said, and I quote, "The survey by the IT department is in continuation of a trend of using government agencies to intimidate and harass press organizations that are critical of the ruling establishment." The Bharatiya Janata Party has slammed the BBC, calling it a corrupt organization. The Congress says the survey highlights the government's dictatorial attitude.
यहाँ हम जेपीसी की मांग कर रहे हैं अडानी के मामले में, और वहाँ सरकार बीबीसी के पीछे पड़ी हुई है। विनाशकाले विपरीत बुद्धि।
बीबीसी के अगर कृत्य देखें, जिसके उदाहरण मैं आपके समक्ष अभी पेश करूंगा, तो ये पूरे विश्व की सबसे भ्रष्ट बकवास कॉरपोरेशन हो गई है।
Well, that is the big story that's playing out. And as I pointed out, it is expected that the offices of the BBC will continue to see tax action tomorrow as well. Now, the Director General of GST Intelligence has sent notices to about 10 to 12 mutual funds. The DGGI has alleged that these mutual funds wrongfully accounted for scheme costs as capex to claim input tax credit. Timsy standing by with more details. Timsy, what are your sources telling you? What is the cause for complaint here?
Well, sources are clearly indicating that when it comes to mutual funds, about 10 to 12 mutual fund houses have been sent notices, or to be precise, letters of inquiry to explain the ITC claims that they have made in the year 2017 and 18. And this is with regards to the ITC that they have claimed on account of, expenses that were capped at 2.25% of AUM. And what the government now feels that these mutual funds, they wrongfully claimed ITC by billing excessive expenses under capex, which is outside the purview of the prescribed norms. What we are given to also understand is that the total quantum of evasion that has been initially now identified by the DGGI is to the tune of between 125 to about 500 odd crore rupees, because a lot of these claims and a lot of these allegations could be challenged. So thus DGGI is keeping a low profile right now. But yes, Mumbai zone of DGGI has sent these notices, waiting for details. In some cases, realizations have also happened. But yes, about 10 to 12 top mutual funds right now under DGGI's radar.
Timsy, many thanks for joining us. On to earnings today. Auto major Eicher reported a net profit increase of 62%. Revenue rose 29%. The company's seen its margins shrink by 80 basis points to 23%. Footwear maker Bata reporting a dismal Q3. Net profit rose nearly 15%, but that was well below what the street was expecting. Revenue growth of 7% was also below estimates. Margins have also missed estimates. In global earnings, higher prices on its drinks have helped beverage giant CocaCola's revenue beat estimates in Q4, but higher prices have hurt demand for Coke's products like Simply Orange Juice and Fairlife Milk. The company has projected a 3 to 5% revenue growth for 2023.
We were very pleased with the year. Obviously, as we look into 23, we're going to see some deceleration, a moderation in the macros, but we're confident that the momentum we've generated will carry us through and we'll have another strong year. China's an important market for us. The release in the restrictions obviously did generate a wave of COVID infections, but if you look at domestic travel and domestic activity in the beginning of the year in China, many features got back to 2019 levels.
That's Coca-Cola. And more global news. Tesla has revised prices for one version of its Model 3 sedan and Model Y crossover. This is the fourth price adjustment by the EV maker this year. The price of its Model Y performance crossover has been increased by $1,000. Additionally, the price of its rear-wheel drive Model 3 sedan has been cut by $500. Both vehicles qualify for $7,500 in federal tax credits. More auto news. Auto major Ford has planned to cut around 4,000 jobs in Europe in the next 3 years in a bid to slash $3 billion from its annual cost. The company will cut 2,300 jobs in Germany at its engineering and production sites. Another 1,300 jobs will be cut from its UK division and 200 across other European nations. And back home, India's defence might on full display on day 2 of the Aero India 2023. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met with his counterparts from 32 countries, called for united efforts to counter security challenges. Ritu, with all the highlights from day 2 of the Aero India show.
Well, it's day 2 of Aero India 2023 and it continues to dazzle the crowds with displays of aircrafts, helicopters, fighter jets in the Bengaluru skies. Whether it is the US Air Force's latest 5th generation supersonic multi-role F-35 aircrafts here, or India's very own Tejas here behind me, or the Surya Kirans, they continue to dazzle the crowds here in Bengaluru. Now I'm here at the India Pavilion, where India is showcasing its might in the aerospace sector and attracting foreign players to come and sign MOUs to make in India, make for the world. We spoke to some of the key players in the sector as well from India. HAL and BEL both said while the chip shortage continues to be a concern, they're not really impacted and do not foresee any delay in deliveries. They're signing with multiple contracts. BEL, for instance, said it will sign more than 20 MOUs here at Aero India.
I can say that there is a lot of interest being shown by foreign OEMs to establish partnerships with HAL. So that is something which is moving on. And in fact, the IMRH also for the engines, as I have told, there is a partnership which is coming up now.
So you said there's 90,000 crores of an order pipeline for HAL. If you could give us a few highlights.
No, 90,000 crores is a pending order book, 84,000 crores as of now. And with HT40, it will be 90,000 crores of pending order book.
We are signing MOU with IEI, we are signing MOU with Elbit System, we are signing MOU with many Indian companies. We are signing TOT agreements and MOU with DRDO labs. So all these are going to help us in bringing around 20 plus. As of now, we have an order book of around 51,000 crores.
Well, more than 700 Indian companies are participating in this 5-day-long exhibition at the Aero India, and among them are many startups as well. One of them is Garuda Aerospace, who we just spoke to a short while ago. It says the game of drones has just begun and a lot more action is expected in the drone space. It is also currently negotiating with the Indian Armed Forces for a large drones order that we'll see happening sometime during the course of 2023. Among the non-defense announcements, the company is also tied up with the likes of Swiggy and Flipkart to make deliveries via its drones. And this is one of the prototypes that you can see displayed right here, which is soon going to be dropping your pizza and your food and your other Flipkart orders via this. So many exciting things in the works here at Garuda Aerospace.
I feel that India is slowly transforming into becoming a global drone hub by 2030. And in that pursuit, Garuda Aerospace wishes to contribute and hope to become the first ever drone unicorn startup by 2024. 2023 is going to be a very lucky year for all of us. We've done a lot of trials in the past with the Army, with ISRO, of course with Swiggy, and we also have a lot more other logistic players coming in.
The storm is coming. That line that you read on this Hindustan Lead Fighter Trainer 42 or HLFT 42 displayed by HAL here at Aero India 2023 has done literally just that. Brought the storm to this event. Remember yesterday when this was unveiled, there was an image of Lord Hanuman on this tail because HLFT 42 is the successor of HAL Marut, which was the first indigenous aircraft, and Marut is another name for wind or Pavan, like we call it in Hindi, and the son of Pavan is Lord Hanuman, which is why a picture of Hanuman was displayed on this model aircraft. As you can see today, the tail is clear. The image of Lord Hanuman has been removed from it. We asked the HAL MD as well as to why that was done, and he said that the picture or the image of Lord Hanuman was put here, right here on this tail yesterday without any intention, and the removal also, he said, is without any intention.
Well, action from day 2 of the Aero India show. Time for us to head into a break, but when we return, we take you to the Van Gogh 360-degree, an immersive exhibition that's on its first India tour. It has been more than a week since powerful earthquakes rocked Turkey and Syria. The death toll in the two countries has now surpassed 37,000. The World Health Organization has described the earthquakes as Europe's worst natural disaster in a century. Rescue operations continue even as the chances of finding survivors has now dimmed. A teenager was rescued in Turkey 198 hours after the earthquake. Meanwhile, in Syria, President Bashar al-Assad has agreed to allow UN to deliver aid in rebel-controlled parts of northwest Syria through 2 more border crossings from Turkey. Meanwhile, NATO has claimed that Russia has mounted a new offensive as defense ministers of member countries meet to discuss further military aid to Ukraine today. Further, Ukrainian military has claimed that the city of Bakhmut is facing heavy artillery fire. Moldovan president has also accused Russia of plotting to oust her pro-European Union government. The Japanese government has nominated Kazuo Ueda as the country's next central bank governor. A surprise pick, the 71-year-old could become the first academic in post-war Japan to become the central bank chief. His nomination is yet to be approved by parliament. Ueda had earlier served on the Bank of Japan's policy board. Outgoing governor's term ends on the 8th of April. The nomination of the new chief comes at a time when Japan is facing inflation of 4%, which is double than the Bank of Japan's 2% target. Nikki Haley has become the first Republican to challenge former U.S. President Donald Trump in the 2024 U.S. presidential elections. The former South Carolina governor of Indian descent has announced the bid, proposing a new generation of leadership in Washington. Haley was appointed as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations by former President Donald Trump. Well, the Starry Night, the Potato Eaters, Sunflowers, these world-famous paintings by Maestro Vincent van Gogh can now be seen in Mumbai. But Van Gogh 360 Degrees, an immersive exhibition that's on its first India tour, brings a twist to the art viewing experience. Shreya Chandra visited the travelling museum to get her fill of this treat for art lovers.
I'm sure you've all heard of Vincent van Gogh, the Dutch painter who is easily one of the most famous artists in history. Seeing his work will usually mean having to travel to places like Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art, or London's National Gallery of Art. But I have gotten lucky because I get to stand among 300 of Van Gogh's most mesmerizing paintings right here in Mumbai. This immersive exhibition called Van Gogh 360 Degrees has landed on Mumbai's shores and will soon travel across the country. And if you decide to come down to take a look, here's what you can expect to see. The immersive exhibition starts with an introduction to Vincent van Gogh, the man and the artist. On entry, you are greeted by panels of backlit paintings overlaid with text chronicling his life. It's a great chance to soak in the atmosphere and get your bearings before you get to the main attraction. and this works to introduce or reintroduce the master to viewers irrespective of age or knowledge.
I think art is very subjective, and if for people to go to art exhibitions, you need to have some kind of knowledge. But in an immersive experience, whatever age you are, there's something for you because it's animation.
The only thing that was missing was that it wasn't a full 360 dome experience. If that would have been the case, it would have been mesmerizing and completely amazing.
The Van Gogh 360-degree exhibition will call Mumbai home till the 3rd of March, after which it will head to Delhi and onward to Bangalore before hitting Chennai and Hyderabad. So check your local listings because this is an experience you must indulge in. Take your kids along and pick up a souvenir on your way out if you want. In Mumbai, Shreya Chandra.
And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. The news continues here on CNBC-TV18.